Hello and welcome to my review on the brand new 2024 12-foot animated bone collector from Lowe's. This retails for $399 and has populated stores since as early as late June, though just recently became available online. You can currently place an order for in-store pickup or have this delivered for an $80 fee, so I'll let you make the call on that one. Now I will admit I am quite late to the game when it comes to reviewing this prop, as like I said, it's been in stores since midsummer, which has only grown my anticipation. Echoing praise for its realistic eye movement, unnerving face, booming voice, and an extra strong frame, these are just a few of the features we get to look forward to. Then, for what you'll want to know in regards to storage, 2 people is suggested when transporting, as he weighs an impressive 89 pounds and measures 41 inches long by 22 inches wide and 33 inches tall. This is a larger container than what Lowe's showstopper from last year rests in, and if you walk through a store that has both the Scarecrow and Bone Collector on the floor, you'll notice the sizable difference. I was most pleased with my purchase of the Scarecrow over a year ago, and hope I can say the same for this, so time to get their new guy unboxed and ready for assembly. Well, totaling to 23 unique components, I've done my best to lay them out for you in an organized fashion. However, they are not in any chronological order. The instruction booklet has actually done that. I have to applaud Tekky in putting in that attention to detail. The manual itself, while rather small, it feels very substantial. It's not just a couple thin pieces of paper stapled together. It's actually a full-on manual, and it's very direct from what I've seen, and it's going to be very handy to have. But diving into the parts which make up our bone collector, we'll start with the shovel. I didn't realize there are some pink blotches mixed here and there to add a nice rust effect. Also, the tip of it cuts off to appear as if it's in the ground. It's a nice piece, very large, and of course complements the bone collector. No, bro, that wasn't even my fault this time. The shovel's handle separates into 3 pieces. You also have the hand that they connect to. I'm not going to go too in depth with all the poles and support beams, as we'll see how they combine to create this gigantic creature in the speed build. So to focus on the elements that will look a little different when fully assembled, the head is exceptionally well detailed and just looks sinister. The white really captures your eye, and that's not to mention his own eyes, which move around too. You can make note of there being 2 wire connections labeled T and V. There's a piece of Velcro at the top to secure the hood, and then of course a stem at the bottom with a push pin to attach to the main frame. Next, the skeleton bag and left hand are all one unit. The bag can rotate depending on how you want the little guy facing, but I personally will keep it straight on. And lastly, there is some posability with the elbows. And to round things out, you have what I can only imagine is a size 25 shoe. They can stack on top of each other, which saves space during storage. It's a thin plastic, though doesn't feel cheap. It's just durable enough that I'm impressed with the quality. They have a decent amount of weight to them, but what I'm noticing is there are certain areas that feel a whole lot more robust than others. The ends of the shoe get very thin with that plastic, and you can kind of warp it. Just might want to make note of that, but I think that's going to do it. So hopefully this building process is an enjoyable one, but even if it isn't, we at least know the result's going to be great.
master's abode. Your soul shall be vanquished to the deepest, darkest dungeon if you do not leave now. Ashes to ashes, dust to dust, you will roam through the valley of death for all eternity, with all of us.
Well, how about our bone collector? This is truly a tremendously crafted prop. I believe the steel is thicker than some of the props I've reviewed this past year, so well done on Tekky's behalf. It's one that Lowe should certainly be proud to carry. Let's get into the reasons why. I'm going to begin with the most general, yet arguably its most prominent feature, and that is his just imposing and dark demeanor. I was coming home from school one day, looked out my window, and had to slow down and take a video so that you could all experience what it would be like to witness this outside of a Lowe's store and come upon it without any warning. It is a sight to see, and I'd even go as far to say it's the scariest 12-foot retail prop, other than the levitating Reaper from Home Depot, to ever be made. Now, what really sets this animatronic apart is the unique way they've done the eyes. It's not just a screen to animate them. They've actually used motors to rotate two spherical objects behind plastic eye sockets. When combined with the facial detailing and also the slow rotation of the head, it's next level realism and has officially raised the bar for Halloween giants. To make note of all the settings this has and what you'll want to know in regards to the control box, there's an on setting, which is where it can be activated by a loud sound, such as a clap, or by walking in front of it. I found the range is roughly 10 feet. There's then an off/demo setting where if you'd like to activate him by using a step pad, you could do that. And then a speaker jack, which is a nice bonus since a lot of the props I've reviewed this year do not come with one. His voice really carries though, so I don't think you're going to want to raise his volume anymore, but if you do, you always have that option. You will want to keep him loud though to drown out the noise he makes with his mouth. It's very squeaky and quite prominent. I found that the 90 to 100% range on the volume control without any additional speakers really gets the job done, but any lower than that, you're probably going to hear it at least maybe 10 to 15 feet out. To address another area for improvement, I do have one design suggestion that, while isn't very realistic, I think would add to this greatly, and that is if they somehow animated the skeleton inside the bag. I was messing around with my leaf blower to dry this off after it had rained, and that's what sparked the idea. The reason why this is far-fetched is because a motor in the bag would put strain on his left arm. I can only assume that's one of the reasons why this wasn't done, other than cost. I just thought it looked too cool for me not to show you. Now I want to talk a bit about how the bone collector was to put together, and for the most part, smooth sailing. Like any huge animatronic that comes with clothing, it's going to be a little annoying and will require post-assembly adjustments so that you can get everything looking right. Good thing is this has a lot of Velcro to really keep those adjustments in place. And it's worth mentioning the only time a second person is needed is when you stand him up. He is every bit of 89 pounds and extremely top heavy, so some extra assistance is going to be nice. And that will pretty much end my take on the new 2024 12-foot animated bone collector from Lowe's. I neglected to show off the stakes and tethers that this comes with. However, I much prefer the sandbag/heavy weight at the bottom approach. However, this would not be a complete review without me at least letting you know they are included. You know, being a few steps back and looking at them from the side profile, it's quite possible Tekky took inspiration from Emperor Palpatine. Literally last video with Fear Valley Wolf, I thought it was a direct copy of Sirius Black, his Animagus form from Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban. But when you think about the laugh, you know, that cackle, the black cloak, of course the white pigmentation, and then you've got the scars and indentions on his face. I mean, what better character to take inspiration from than arguably the most evil villain in cinematic history? I understand it's a reach. I still think Tekky had it in mind. You can argue with me or agree with me in the comments below. And while you're down there, please click on the affiliate link if you're interested in purchasing this, as it directly helps me grow the channel and buy more stuff for me to review and showcase in each haunt. Until next time, I'll see you later. Peace out. Bye.
Ashes to ashes, dust to dust, you will roam through the valley of death for all eternity, with all of us. Who dares enter the Master's abode? Your soul shall be vanquished to the deepest, darkest dungeon if you do not leave now.